Streamelements said the busy builder is now live, streaming miniatures.
Hey Jeff, I think you're the only one in here right now. Welcome in though. How's your Saturday?
As Jeff's amazing framework said, nice kid.
That's a pretty nice kit.
As Jeff's amazing framework said, good to see that coming together.
Sorry, having a bit of paint trouble all of a sudden.
At Leo2A7BK said, tried a little before. Alex.
Hey Alex. Tried a little what? Oh, there's something going on here. I was testing out something. I think it may have gummed up the works a bit.
At Leo2A7BK said, there we are. Send it again. Hope you had a nice Christmas.
I did. Nice quiet day. What kind of project would you guys like to see next, though? After I get through with this and the LAV C2 build, the Back to Basics build. Because I've got some Amazon gift cards I can use up for Christmas. Haven't spent them yet. Would you like to see them used for another subject? Or should I use them for supplies? I was thinking of doing another LAV. Don't know if you guys are getting tired of those like the Humvees. It would be the LAV-M, which has most of its interior. And I'd probably get the resin engine bay for it. Oh, and what's the company? Starts with an M. It's a newer company. They just announced they're doing the new marine amphibious vehicle, the wheeled one. I think it starts with an M. I could be wrong. I still got to finish up the half track too, so. And if you saw the post on YouTube, I'm testing out a new effect on this one. It'll be part of the overall scene. I even went out in the backyard and picked up some sticks off of our peach tree that I'm going to cobble together into some kind of scale-looking tree. Yeah.
Not liking the more square or hard edge front.
Yeah, that's the one thing that the Boxer kind of makes it uglier, is the fact that they designed that really blunt nose on it. Well, it fits, because the Striker was essentially the Piranha 3, right? Which the Marines never adopted. They went for a service life extension on the LAV instead. But the Army did. So now it fits that the Marines are going to use the new ACV. Which is the latest variation from the Moag Corporation. This turret basket always was a pain to paint. So I said I was going to leave the blade off. I lied. I looked at it and saw that I'd run the risk of damaging the paint more trying to get the damn thing on. So I figured I'd just install it. I'll work around it as best I can.
At Leo2A7BK said, what are you currently using in camo? Standard NATO 3-tone and desert tan.
This is going to be the green and brown winter version of the modular camo from the late 70s, early 80s. This is going to be a mid-80s reforger kind of scene. Winter reforger. Early fall, early winter. Not a lot of snow on the ground, but there's going to be some frost. Come on. Yeah, there's something gumming up inside here. Just gotta get past whatever it is. There we go.
Leo2A7BK said, I was thinking if we should choose the
Oh,
what options do the Marines have?
right now it would be only NATO 3 color or overall sand. I'd do it NATO 3 color. It's just more attractive in terms of being able to weather it and make it look interesting. Ooh, now it's flowing. Holy crap. I don't think the ACV is out yet in terms of kits. It's been announced. I just hope I've got enough of this paint to finish this. I should. Having to use a little more than I like on the blade, but we'll get through. If anything, I can put a few drops of khaki drab into the Tamiya NATO green and fudge it from there.
And Leo 2A7BK said I am also looking up and down for a Mawid Piranha 3 or B, still can't find one.
Trumpeter did one. The 3 anyway, because it's essentially the striker with a turret. I believe the Canadian forces use it, and the Australians use it as the ASLAB 3. I could be wrong, but I think that's kind of the way of it. So you can try looking up those kits, and there might be something to convert one of those to the Piranha 3. I just got a lot of Bezos bucks for Christmas, so I'm trying to figure out what to use them on. Or should I do like a Shilka ZSU 23? I'd like to do the Strela 10. It's not on Amazon. I know you want to spray. Thank you. There we go.
And Leo 2A7BK said the pants before they lose all of them to drones.
Oh, not a Tunguska, not a 2S1. Didn't Panda Hobby do a Tunguska? So when I do the base for this, I'm going to do something on it that's probably going to piss a lot of people off. But I've got photographic evidence, so to speak. I've got pictures of one on a muddy road in the winter where the road was frozen. So guess what wasn't left in the road? Track marks.
And Leo 2A7BK said Tunguska would be cool.
I did the old War Wheels kit in 72nd scale a long time ago. Or military wheels. I wouldn't wish that kit on my worst enemy. I remember one reviewer saying that the road wheels stuck out too far. And when I started looking at it, I'm like, yeah, it's because the model itself is too narrow by like 3 millimeters, and that scale is huge. Once I widened the hull, the road wheels looked right. What the fuck? I was hoping tonight would have been a nice stream. No, the road wheels weren't too wide, the hull was too narrow. I get the joke, though. But just remember, the width of everything in this world is dictated by having to be able to fit through a train tunnel at some point. Which, in its essence, was dictated by the widths of 2 horses' asses. I think I got that well enough. I want to get all the main parts painted, then we'll go back and see what I've got to touch up. But how's your Saturday? I'll be on tomorrow too. I just wanted to do a stream tonight, get this thing going. Tomorrow I get my static grass applicator, and today I got, where did it go? I got this in the mail.
Leo2A7BK said the detail and breakup of that M60 still baffles me.
And I did some tests. And I like how this frost stuff works. Because I want to give the M60 the look of, like, hoarfrost. Like, it got below freezing on a really humid night. So everything got a little iced up. Not like heavy snowfall, but like maybe there was a little snow in the night. No worries. But just that little coating of frost that gets on everything. At least that's the plan. Hey, model student. How you doing? How's the rest of Max's stream? I had to go eat dinner. Or would y'all like to see me do another M60
Model
next?
student 20 said good snowy that was weird, kinda like silicone balls. There was a good one that's free, I mean.
Yeah, I kind of had to go when I started hearing the misinformation on the F-14.
At the model student 20 said highly
Like nobody remembers the F-14 wasn't designed to carry the Phoenix missile. It was designed to replace the F-111 in Navy service. The F-111 started out life as a carrier-based aircraft. And it too was supposed to carry the Phoenix missile. I might just take a brush and do the inner parts of the road wheels.
At the model student 20 said the yard bike.
Yep, the F-111B started out life as a carrier-based interceptor, swing-wing, twin-engine, multi-role aircraft for the Navy. But they found the carrier landings were having a toll on the landing gear because of the weight of the airframe. So instead of, lightening the airframe, they just spent money and designed a whole new jet. The Air Force is having better luck with it, so they continued that program for the Air Force, and they used it as an excuse to put the F-14 up. But nobody ever talks about that.
At the model student 20 said Majin landing 1 on a carrier.
Look up the episode Wings on the development of both the F-14 and the F-111. And there's actually footage of the F-111 landing on a carrier.
At the model student 20 said crazy.
And yes, the F-14 did enter service in '72.
Said became a ground-hugging nuclear girl instead. F-111.
Yep. Coming back to land in Germany and England with treetops and the landing gear. I think the Aussies were picking up kangaroos in theirs. Until they buried what was left of them. Sorry this isn't very exciting. Yeah. Get working on that cholesterol. I should probably start eating those more often too. Because in the immortal words of Gunny Hartman, I'm a disgusting fat body. We've just been discussing what I should use my Christmas Bezos bucks on. Part of me really wants to do an LAVM with the engine compartment.
At Leo 2A7BK said, well, 3.20 night in Denmark. If I didn't like this, I would be in bed. TV.
Well, you can always watch in bed too. But it's also Saturday, so it's not like you've got, I mean, I don't know if you're going to church or anything like that, but it's not like you got anything to really be up for in the morning on a Sunday. I am also off tomorrow and Monday. Right? It's not like I don't already have enough between this, the LAVR, the LAVC2, the Abrams, the AAVR. I should almost buy supplies like groundwork material, tank crews, paints, things like that. 75 bucks could go a long way with that. Foliage, leaves, grass. My static applicator should be here tomorrow. I'll test that out before stream. Yeah, that's Aries right now. I think the nap trap got him. So I plucked these off of my peach tree. I figure I could kind of take, I got 2 of them, but I could take these and make something that looks like a tree out of them. But I got 2 of them. I can kind of combine all the little branches into bigger branches, make something that looks more like an actual tree. So we're just evening out the finish, getting all the spots I missed. I was more concerned about uniform coverage, so I could get all the parts with this color, because I'm running low. And Hobby Lobby ain't open till Monday to get more.
At Leo 2A7BK said you would be good with the grass applicator. You have 3 fingers upside down face emoji face with hand over mouth emoji face savoring food emoji.
Smart Alex. I should institute a pun tax upon the channel. I've got some ideas. I'm not going for like a specific tree, just something that looks right. There we go. Now the paint's going, stretching. I should have enough left in the bottle I can brush paint between the road wheels. I I just wanted to be sure I had enough to cover all this. Because the ADHD is getting a hold of me.
At the model student 20 said spray adhesive. Lol.
Nope, I'm going to be using matte varnish as my adhesive choice. Do it in little patches. Apply as necessary. I may have to use this to paint inside the road wheels now.
At the model
Shit, I
student
missed
20
two.
said tank looking great with a beast with that blade on the front.
I could always get the recovery version of the M60. Or the engineer's vehicle, as they called it.
At the model student 20 said works too, so does PVA.
PVA can be too thick and you gotta put a matte finish over it anyway. So why not just use the matte finish as the adhesive?
At the model student 20 said that would be a cool one.
Well, essentially it's this without the main gun. It's got a smaller canister launcher and a big crane and the blade.
At the model student 20 said especially in the diorama.
Well, I have one in mind for it, but I don't think a lot of people would like it. Go to the historical archives and look up Waco, Texas. One of the combat engineer vehicles was backing into the building when everything started to go south. I remember watching that live on TV when I was a teenager.
The model student 20 said I had stumbled across a model no one has built on YouTube. Wacko saw that lived.
No one's built the combat engineer vehicle on YouTube? The AFV Club one? I forget exactly what it's called. I think it's like the 729 or something like that. I could be mistaken. Yeah, we were watching that live in my high school as well when it happened. I'm like, why the fuck are they showing us this? I mean, I understand the newsworthiness of it, but they didn't have us watching it beforehand, but they were sure to show us the part where it was burning down. It's like, why are they showing
The model
this?
student 20 said no, this is a 135th Volvo Saga and a resin kit.
Oh.
At the model student 20 said made by pilot replicas.
Gotcha. Well, you know how it goes in the model world. If it's not the latest, greatest version of a Tiger, or a Sherman, or an M60, it's not going to get a lot of notice.
The model student 20 said, I think to show everybody what they were capable of, maybe. It freaked us out.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is like, I don't remember the teachers, or even the news stations at the time, really explaining much. They just we just kept hearing about Waco, Waco, Waco on the news. Never really followed it, you know, as a 12, 13-year-old back in the 90s, we didn't really give a shit about Texas, you know, especially living in Florida. And here they are showing us the compound being ambushed or assaulted, or whatever fucking term you want to use. Because we know the people that were in there were nuts. But at the time, we didn't really understand that as teenagers. And suddenly we're being shown it burning down with no context. I mean, I used to watch the space shuttle launch in my backyard, so when I saw that blow up in person, I knew what was going on. But this, I had no context for my own mind to evaluate the implications of what I was seeing, and that just felt odd, regardless of who was good and who was bad in the situation.
The model student 20 said, this military car is cool looking, I just like it. It's kinda rare, so a bit pricey, looks around $100 plus shipping.
If it's a resin kit, that's cheap.
Model show. Maybe find one. At the model student 20 said, that was wild through the space shuttle.
Yeah, I remember being homesick that day.
At the model student 20 said, Blacko was weird.
It was. You know, regardless of the implications we know now, at the time it happened to most people who, you know, weren't following it, just weird.
And now we talk about Russian armor. The wolf community can't sleep because we build a BMP-3 or AT-90M.
I've got a BMP-3 on my Amazon wish list. I think the trumpeter one came with a full interior. And no, that doesn't bother him. What bothers at least the AI is when you try and post a video of a Panzer IV with no wrong symbology to Erica, and it gets flagged for hate speech.
At the model student 20 said, I've been building rusty stuff last couple builds, I better be careful I don't get cancelled.
Nah, you're fine. You're not doing the Slav squat. Did I miss? I'm seeing ghost outlines for stuff, and I just want to make sure I didn't miss lifting points or something else, or maybe they're for another vehicle. Nah, we're good. depending on how much time we spend doing this, because I still got to do the brown and the black and the sand, we might build some of the barricades that I bought for the LAVR. Very much so. We're not doing it because we have a certain ideological alignment. We're doing it for historical correctness to make sure that it's not forgotten, which feels like it is. Did I get all 6 of these? I did. Okay.
At the model student 20 said just before Christmas my friend gave me a Berlinden 135th Mr. Mustache. I got it with the ICM staff car and staff.
You don't want to build a model of an angry painter? Now, am I flagged too because I dropped out of art school and went into the military? Actually, let me shoot the crew with this because this is also the same base color for the BDUs. May as well put it to good use, right? Ow! That was my elbow. Why elbow? Why?
At the model student 20 said it's an incredible likeness.
Well, in 35th scale, it's really hard to not, you know, as long as you got the gross features right.
At the model student 20 said Sue is base. Lol.
I was going to order a resin crew, but I'd rather have the crew in the hatches than outside the vehicle. More interesting that way. Because the ones I was going to order had them standing outside like drawing a map in the dirt. Good enough.
At Leo 2A7DK said more dynamic cut when operational.
Yeah, just more interesting to look at.
At the model student 20 said that sounds like a cool scene. For sure I got an HG monkey crab. It's a new kit.
A monkey crab? What? Bandai? Well, you could always start building all the racial stereotype Gundams from, what was that,
Model
G-Fighter?
20 said it's a funky looking critter. At the model student 20 said I like it so ugly it's cool.
I think Alex passed out. No, wait. No, he said something recently. Okay. Run a little more through it just to make sure. Then we'll get the flat earth going. Oh, that's never good. I hate it when Vallejo caps do that. Fortunately, give this a good shaky shake. Yep, Ares passed out. See if I can get him in here now.
At Leo 2A7BK said that's what we call NCAP.
Sorry, just cleaning up a little bit. Yeah, I don't like it when they pop off like that, though. Alright, let me bring up my camo pattern.
RS_studios just redeemed free.
Ah! Alrighty. How you doing, Ares? Nice of you to join us. And on this camo, it really is, you know, you don't have to be perfect. They were mainly painted by the crews. They had a guideline where they kinda sketched out the pattern on the tank, and then they were given air guns, brushes, you name it.
The Lab R looking stellar.
So is there a dedicated pattern to this? Yes. Do you have to follow it as strictly as the NATO 3 color? No. Yeah, the snow we were supposed to be getting never appeared. And now the forecast is even saying that we're not getting any till who knows when. So, not happy. We need it. Bingo.
Model student 20 said it's either we were supposed to get huge amounts but didn't get that much. Very cold though.
We were supposed to have rain basically since Christmas Day to now. We had rain Christmas Day. That was it. Then today it was supposed to switch to snow by nightfall. Actually by 3 p.m. And here it is. 4 hours after that? Let me look. Five hours after that, and we ain't got shit. Stuff is drying out so fast. Let me turn off my heater. But the forecast has been shifting so quickly that it's been going from rain 1 minute to snow the next minute to nothing to rain back to snow. So it's like it's bipolar weather for sure. Or teenage angst weather. It doesn't know what it wants to be when it grows up. I know, I heard. Which is also unusual for that area this time of year, isn't it? I remember it being at least freezing when I was in San Antonio, and that was in February. No snow, but it was cold, you know, it was enough. reason it keeps drying like this is I have to stop so frequently to change the pattern too. I could have sworn I got some flow retarder. No. Or some flow assist. Drying retarder. You know what I mean. Nope. Alright. Flow improver. Yeah, there. That's a word I was looking for. I gotta do something. This stuff is drying as it hits the needle. See if this helps at all. So has anyone been watching season 2 of Fallout? to touch up the undercarriage a little bit. All this handling has been wearing paint on. But what do you expect? I've been having to roughhouse it.
At Leo2A7BK said haven't seen Fallout. Other streaming services. Would very much like to. Also miss my expand.
Is Hulu not carrying, or not Hulu? It's Amazon Prime. So if you've got Amazon Video, you should be able to watch it unless it's restricted where you are. But it's an Amazon series. I don't see why it would be restricted though. I'm enjoying it so far. I haven't played all the games, but I played enough to get the references and the humor, especially how this season went in hard with the Fallout 2, and it's staying there. Or not Fallout 2, Fallout New Vegas. Durr. You could say there's some Fallout 2 references in it too, for the second game.
At Leo2A7BK said you know. 149 Danish KR here and there. It adds up.
True. Is that for you to watch it? So this is just one big splotch of dark earth on the back end here.
At Leo2A7BK.
Oh.
For monthly fans.
Oh, I get you. I'm sure there's alternative means that you could use. If I had the means to rip it off Amazon as I watched it, I would, but I'm not that tech savvy, unfortunately. I know how I could get you to see it. I'll have to look into it. I think we could do watch parties on Twitch, because Twitch is an Amazon service. I don't know if it's eligible for watch parties, but I can look into it and see if it is. This is the part of this camo scheme I always disliked. How they carried it into the lower hull. It didn't make sense because once it's all muddied up, you're not really going to notice it. So if something on Amazon, as far as like Amazon Video or Prime or whatever, is yeah. As long as I am on Twitch and I'm streaming it for a watch party, it's allowed. Now I can't just sit there and broadcast it and that's it. You know, I have to be there watching it. You know, so we'd have to do like 1 or 2 episodes at a time, but I'll look into it and see. Maybe on one of those nights I don't feel like doing like, you know, one of those nights I don't feel like, you know, doing a modeling stream, but I feel like tinkering. Put on the watch party and watch the show. I didn't keep the lines tight on that shit at all, did I? Then again, by this point, I don't think the crews would have either, because they would have been pretty much done for the day. And this is going to be pretty heavily muddied up, too. Not like mud, but there's going to be a lot of dirt and earth colors, stuff like that.
model student 20 said camo.
I knew what you meant. But I've been thinking on how to finish the Abrams, since I'm not going to be using it with the AAV. I'm thinking we'll set the Abrams in Bosnia as well, since it is an older version of it. It's still an M1A1, but it's not part of the AIM, which is one of the upgrade programs that happened shortly after that. So building it outright as just what's in the box, I should be able to do it effectively.
But the model student 20 said the brow is actually making the green look kinda faded.
It'll pop back to life once once the clear coat's applied.
But the model student 20 said Bosnia nice mud there.
Well, that, and I've got some decent references for one that I can pull from.
But the model student 20 said in lots of it. At Leo 2A7BK said nice terrain for an M1A1. Bloody war, but what is it?
Okay. So it looks like both of my drive sprockets are getting the outer faces painted brown. I'm running low on paint. Maybe. I mean, I've got enough. I've got a whole bottle of this shit. I'm gonna have to refill my American green, though. Okay. And then 4 of the outer... No. 1, 2, 3, 4... 6 of the outer road wheels are gonna be brown as well. Out of the line of fire. I still have to paint the blade. I'm gonna bring up some real pictures of that just to see. And you're probably wondering why I'm not using the instructions. I'll show you once I'm done. There's a certain name associated with the paint diagram in the instructions. Takom loves to use them. But just like the Weasel, for all the vaunted information their name should bring with it, you can't see the fucking thing. They printed it so small. We still got to do the turret. So I'm using the actual army diagram for this. As a reference. I'll show you. Why you being a Charlie uniform November Tango here?
At Leo 2A7BK said ironic.
Of course. Again, not that it matters I get that good a coverage on the road wheels. Oh, it's spraying better. So those can go aside. Get the turret brought up. Okay. I hope I've been staying within camera shot for most of this. I've been trying to, anyway. Not too concerned about painting the jerry can because I'll be overpainting that anyway. Probably gonna have to come back in with a bit of the green that I've still got and touch this up.
But 4.20 at Nightmare. Gotta surrender. Blast as always.
No worries.
Nighty, Alex.
Well, if you're up in 8 hours, I'm pretty sure I'll be on for the afternoon. If you want to join us again then. Thanks for hanging out. And I hope you have a good night.
At Leo2A7BK said nice. At the model student 20 said I was thinking today how many fits you build on here. It's more than most people
That's
would put to share.
basically why I chose the name, to be honest. Just wish I could get a little bit more attention. I don't have a hook. You know, I don't have a gimmick, really. Like, you got Boxman, who does those really nice 700 scale ship builds. But he's also sarcastic as hell, which, that's his hook. I get that. I enjoy watching it. Max is straightforward. He's got his own thing going on. He's an information channel as well as a model building channel. I just build to the best of my ability, and I'm very busy while I'm doing it. Both the amount of stuff that I do and the fact that I've got a full-time job on top of it, you know?
At the model student 20 said I like Lou.
Lou is... Sorry, I don't know the actual names aside from the channel names.
At the model student 20 said I like Flores too.
I haven't really watched Flory's stuff. Like I said, I know the name by association with the product.
At the model student 20 said Aztec dummy.
Oh. He's been around a while too.
At the model student 20 said that's Lou.
Again, like I said though, I'm so busy doing this, I don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of channels, you know? I watch a few that get me when I've got the time, but overall I just don't have the time. Poor excuse, I know, but if I'm building, I'm either streaming or I've got something completely mindless that I don't have to pay attention to on in the background. Like a movie I've seen a million times, like The Quiet Man or something like that. And my goal is, I would like, you know, knock on wood, I'd like to be at least a 5-day-a-week channel again. But that's not so easily done right now, unfortunately. Imagine how much I'd be able to get done if I was 5 days a week again. Because there's some days I don't build. You know, I'm not always building all the time. Even though, you know, some would say I am.
Once I get going live in 26, I will be able to post almost daily, if not.
One thing I can tell you from when I did it, pace yourself. During COVID, can we say that word on YouTube now, or are we still not allowed to? Fuck it. During COVID, I was doing 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. But most of the time I was down was midweek, like Tuesday, Wednesday, because I noticed at the time those were my slowest days. So that, on those days, if you do that, you really got to watch the analytics. Okay. I need to see the plow blade. Yeah, the what I'm using as far as a reference doesn't have the plow blade on it. It's just the basic tank paint job. So for the plow, I've got to go and get real pictures, which I've got. I've got enough. How's that? Came off your hook.
At the model student 20 said I wasn't offering the bid. Worked right
through. I wasn't let go, but where I worked, we were put off for just over a month and a half, I think. And, you know, my audience grew. That's when it was at its highest. And I was doing 4 to 5 days a week before then, but I was only doing like 3 to 4 hours a day, kind of like I am now, but just 4 to 5 days a week. But when I went back to work, things changed so much and it picked up such a tempo that it completely shot my personal schedule to hell when it came to streaming. And there was some other stuff going on. Aries knows about that. He knows it wasn't that great of a time. And for those guys who found my channel in that time, if you're listening, thank you for still being here. But yeah, it wasn't the worst, wasn't the greatest, but I've never been able to get myself back up to that pace. Sorry to be spacing. Sorry I'm going so Shatnerian on my verbiage here, but it's just that's what happens, you know. And ever since then, I've been trying to get back to that, but having to change jobs, working like full-time on my feet. When I get home, I just kind of want to crash a lot lately. Like today was a rare day. I'm actually feeling really, you know, really good. I wanted to get this painted. I didn't want to wait till tomorrow. I've been waiting on enough other things that I just wanted to get started and going on this. You know? So I decided to say, you know, hell with it. But for a lot of what I do, it's hard for me to get the mental stamina up to do it. I mean, people are like, oh, it's streaming, it ain't that hard. It's not the streaming part that's hard. It's honestly the multitasking at this level.
At the model student 20 said I have been Mr. Mung that last couple days. I just found an old ICM 135th GM 21 grad in my stash I forgot about. This might work with my deal.
I highly suggest you refer to Shep Payne's Book of Dioramas. I might start referring to that thing as a Bible. Chapter 3, verse 21. Thou shalt not overcrowd your diorama scene with too many subjects, as that can cause confusion and distract from the core story being told. I made that up, but it's kind of what he says in his book. I think you might be trying to cram too many things into the one thing. And I was unaware until recently. He didn't pass away until 2015. I thought he passed on long before then. I wish I'd known that. I would have tried harder to actually, you know, aspire to meet him. Do it! Do it now! You must do it! This is one nasty piece of work. I hope I can make it look good. Okay, now we're going to switch over to our more well-behaved brand, Tamiya, for the crow's feet. But I gotta give the airbrush a thorough cleaning right now.
garage yet, but I have time to decide. Once I get the helicopter on the roof, it will probably be done.
I thought you'd have the helicopter inside the garage, kind of like it had been damaged and brought in there to hide it. And that's why there's guys on the hill checking it out, like, what's going on with this thing? Why is it here? Why has it not been blown up yet? Can we blow it up? And wow, it's been 2 hours already? I gotta do a stand-up break.
At the model sheet of 20 said snakes on chicken toes wall.
No, right now we got your damn northern, what are they called? Northern cobra chickens flying around all the time, every time the weather changes. They don't know if they should be here or in Canada.
At the model sheet of 20 said interesting concept. No, I was gonna have it dropping or picking up Mr. Big Stuff.
And it looks like Edward is releasing the alien decals in a full kit with the Hind. Yeah, I gotta take a break and stand up, so I'll be right back in a few minutes. My legs are locking up a bit.
The model student 20 said like a general coming to inspect something top secret. At the model student 20 said good time for me to airbrush lol.
Alright, I'm back. Let's get going on the crow's feet. Bring up the guide again. There it is. Get some NATO black in here. Just giving the airbrush needle a final clean with some lacquer thinner, just to make sure it's got good airflow and good paint flow. Yeah, the black and sand lines that are on this pattern, they've been nicknamed crow's feet.
Papa Chicken 137 asks evening. How's the tank treating you?
It's going pretty good, Papa Chicken. Welcome, welcome. It's a really nice kit. The only Takom kits I'd really built before.
Yep, they're my favorite part. They add a lot of character.
The only Takom kits I'd really built before were the weasels, the 16 scale weasels. The only thing I got from them, I mean, they're good kits, but at the same time they felt really chunky, for lack of a better word. So it was really nice to see that they'd actually gotten a lot of the really, like, intricately fine detail on this that other companies failed to get in the past. How have you been? I know Battletech stuff's a smaller scale.
At the model student 20 said the blade on the front with the mounts and stuff looks awesome, I think.
But what you can learn from this isn't so much like specific techniques, but little things you can do to make the details pop out more.
At the model student 20 said weathered it's gonna be dope for sure.
So like how a wash can pop your details better. I know it's kind of a taboo word in miniature painting lately. Dry brushing, and I mean proper dry brushing. I don't mean using those rounded brushes and smearing paint all over your model that I've seen so many mini painters doing, but I'm talking proper dry brushing. And I'm going to be showing that on this because there's a lot of areas where there's some very, very fine, intricate details I want to pop out. Who was it that did Battletech minis? Was it Thunderhead Studios? Who was it? I'm trying to remember the name. There's another streamer that actually masters files for 6mm Battletech and game systems like that. I'll have to look in a minute and get back to you. But he does like terrain that you can download on Thingiverse and stuff like that. This channel is also about basic modeling skills. So things like letting paint dry. If you choose to go into a different genre, like even Warhammer, things like that, there's some weathering and chipping and other effects that can cross over, you know. This isn't strictly limited to scale modeling.
At the model student 20 said I don't like those round brushes for dry brushing didn't work for me. Battletech designs are cool.
For dry brushing to work properly, your brush needs give. And I can demonstrate even without paint. So just give me 1 second once we get done with these crow's feet. And I can demonstrate how I mean. I can't demonstrate the actual dry brushing because I'm not at that phase of this yet. But I can demonstrate what the brush should do to help you better apply the paint.
Papa Chicken 137 said sounds cool. Yeah, I'm curious to see how dry brushing will differ here compared to the mini world.
Because one thing I've seen in the mini world is dry brushing there. They're almost trying to repaint the entire mini with another layer of paint that's a more highlighted color on all the broad areas, leaving the shadows the darker base color. That's not dry brushing, that's overpainting.
At the model student 20 said the bristles are too short on those
Indeed
round
they are. You're right on with that, model student. Like I said, let me finish up these crow's feet and we will get to a quick explanation of dry brushing. Tomorrow there may be a demonstration, but today will be an explanation. And for Battletech stuff, because you're talking about like the 6mm stuff, the smaller scale mechs.
At the model student 20 said I like a square and floppy brush. Papa Chicken 137 said yeah, you got it. At the model student 20 said a bit floppy.
And you're right on the money there, model student. You want the brush to give, so that way it flattens out and the paint that's on it is distributed. Those stubby brushes they can't do that because they're too firm. So you're essentially just scrubbing the paint on. And whoever says dry brushing is useless is full of shit. Let's be real. You guys have seen me do it left and right on this channel, probably without even realizing it. Okay. We're almost done here.
The model student 20 said those minis are great for becoming a good brush painter. Lots of techniques painting them.
There we go. Sorry, I had to get this aligned properly.
At the model student 20 said playing with figures are bust.
And I can actually give you an example of what good dry brushing can do.
Papa Chicken 137 said I do a more display style of painting and I don't typically use dry brushing because I'm a control freak. Haha.
Once you see what I'm about to show you, it will open up a whole new world to you of what you can and can't do with it. Just a couple more crow's feet, like the lines around my eyes. I never realized how many were on the turret. There's a lot. We still have to do the sand crow's feet, but I need to take a break anyway. My eyes are getting crossed here. So it's not any kind of specific brush. So Model Student was right on the account that a square brush is extremely beneficial for good dry brushing. He is not wrong at all there. But not only is it that, it's also the paint.
Model student 20 said do you highlight before you paint your minis and seen that approach used a lot.
It depends on what I'm painting. Generally, no, I don't go for zenithal. You might want to because of the scale of what you're working at. It helps add that underlying brightness and the darker shadow without you realizing it, you know? But for what I do, it's large enough that I can paint my shadows in. But when people think dry brushing, they think extremes. You know, they're thinking extreme highlights, extreme shadows, almost like an edge highlight, which a lot of people use it for that, right? Let me get some more music going. Just one moment. And it can be used for that, and if you, once you get like better control over it, it can really pop that, okay? But what I like to use it for is to actually pull out detail. Especially that stuff that's really, really, really like too small for you to effectively paint and highlight using more standard brush techniques. And that's where the floppy brush comes in, but it's also the paint. You don't want it too wet where it sticks to everything and you're basically overpainting, which is what I've seen a lot of people do when they think dry brushing. What you need is a brush where the paint is almost dry, like just tacky. Nylon brushes are usually best, for broader surfaces, I like to use a square that's like this. Right?
At the model, student 20 said dry brush works for me for mechanical type stuff.
Because this, the brush gives. So when I go onto here, it'll catch that corner more.
Papa
Right?
Chicken 137 said too small to paint is where the optimizers come out for me. My wife calls them my sexy glasses.
So, but you want the brush to be able to coast over the top of the details and not touch everything, right? And that's where a lot of people get confused on dry brushing. There was a mini painter that I don't know how she's well renowned with the technique that I saw. It was actually rather gruff, for lack of a better term. And I'll be demonstrating some tomorrow. I want to get this base painted tonight. It's not always about highlight. It's about enhancing the detail.
137 said light touch is key.
But you can also use a smaller round brush like
Thanks for
this.
demonstrating.
But I'm going to show you an example of how it works, at least the way I'm explaining it. Give me 1 second. It's a rather large figure, so I've got to get it off the base carefully. But with a wash,
Model student 20 said rolling on the floor
you also
after
want to,
emoji
or with the dry
after
brushing, you
glasses
also want to use a
said
wash.
I look like a mad scientist.
And you can get effects like that. But you got to know how to make the colors work together. I'm still in the process of painting her. It's Cammy from Street Fighter. And there's another one I'm working on as well.
Papa Chicken 137 said good texture on the shirt and clips. Super cool.
But it's also about texture. It's not always about highlight and shadow.
Said fabric looks mint.
So I went for a worn leather look there. And then leather corset as well, but it's like a red leather. So yeah, there's different ways to do it. You just have to think about how you're doing it. It's not so much, okay, I need stark highlight, which for smaller minis you kind of do want that. But the more refined you can make that edge, the thinner and cleaner.
Papa Chicken 137 said that is a really
Thank you.
believable leather texture.
But the more you can,
Masterfully executed.
the more you can refine that edge and make it really sharp and really neat, the better the definition of the
At
model.
The model student 20 said very convincing.
Like, even on this, the LAV that's right here, I know you can't really see it too easily because of the camera distance. Let me see what I can do here. But pay attention to the bags and everything on it. They're dry brushed. Let me zoom in a little bit here. That's as far as it's letting me go. But you have to know how to make the colors play with each other, where your highlights are, where your shadows are. It's more than just going slip, slap, slip, slap, slip, slap with a brush and calling it good. It's also about knowing where and how harsh to make that highlight.
Model student 20 said I love that build, it looks so cool.
And that's something that comes in time as you learn it, as you pick it up, and as you see things in like what you're doing and techniques that you like, that you develop for yourself. it's good to use other people as like a guidepost. Like, I want to aim for that result, but don't limit yourself to it.
20 said camo net looks so good it feels heavy just looking at it.
You know, don't say I'm gonna copy everything this thing looks like, which you can start out doing that, but don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Papa
You know.
Chicken 137 said, all right, you've convinced me to give it another go.
So like when I dry brush a figure, if you notice, see if I can get the camera to notice it here. You see how I've got a darker color along here that I airbrushed on? When I dry brushed it, I only came from the top down, because that's my light source, that's my light direction, not from the bottom up. So when you're dry brushing, only go from the top down as much as possible. You might have to go side to side and do some other weird things to kind of pop a detail that you like, but primarily top to bottom. And that's when you want to start concentrating your highlights on the upper edges, and then concentrate your shadows on lower edges. But that's with any kind of like figure or model, anything like that.
The model student 20 said less is always more, start light and work slow.
And 3 words for anything in this hobby: let it dry. Okay, there we are. We're going to be doing the sand crow's feet next. That's the one thing a lot of people kind of get ahead of themselves, is let it dry. You try messing with the paint you've put on too early. Like dry brushing, you should let the paint cure for 24 hours minimum before you even dry brush on it. Because what can happen is the paint's still wet and gummy. Not like wet, but it's not fully cured. And as you're dry brushing, your brush will catch the paint and peel it off. Especially if it's an acrylic. So then, you've got to go back and repaint that because you've just torn your paint. Yep, let it slow. Don't be afraid to take more than a day. Let it dry. Like, it's taken me, what, 4 days to build this? And not all in one sitting either. We're going to base paint the camouflage tonight. I'm going to let it set overnight and then come back tomorrow. Start picking out the details in it. Gloss coat it. Decals. Not that there's going to be too many of them. And also, I know this sounds weird. Don't be afraid to mess up. You know how many kits I've had to throw out over the years? Either because they've messed up or they've just become too far gone to repair. And I've gotten newer ones, better ones. I've approached them with fresh eyes. You know, new ideas. Or old ideas with better skill. Because one thing I've also run into, especially with this channel, is there's a lot of people out there that see people like me, and I don't consider myself the best of anything, right? And if anyone says that, they're lying. I don't care who you are. But I've had people compare themselves to me. I'm like, no, 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 no. And some of the people I know, they've only been building models for a few years. I've been building them for the better part of 30 years. I've messed up a lot. I'm not even gonna begin to count how many times I screwed something up. I'm still here, still doing it. That's how I know I got the sand color the right tone. I had to mix this. It looks white on the model and it's not. Yeah, don't fall into the trap of playing Keeping Up with the Joneses. Don't think you have to use certain brands of paints and certain brands of glue and all this. Use what works, use what you can afford, and get comfortable with it. Develop the hobby as you want. It's your hobby, not theirs. Sorry if I'm getting a bit preachy. Just trends I've noticed in recent times that have given new people to the hobby a lot of issues. Thunderdome Drew, that's his name. He does a lot of Battletech stuff. He can also give you some good pointers. I don't know if he's streaming right now, but he's the one that does the Battletech stuff.
Chicken 137 said you're good. I have a serious comparison problem, but I've accepted that I'm my own worst critic and treat it as motivation to improve.
And that's the best way to look at it.
All correct, though.
That is the best way to look at it. It's a healthy outlook. And yeah, just keep going like that. Don't worry about being perfect. Just get it done. Take what you feel are the good points away. Take what you feel are the bad points away. Learn from them. Apply it to the next one. And pretty soon you'll have a pretty set method of process and techniques that you're happy with. Kind of like airbrushing. Do you think I learned how to do this overnight? And I still do all my stuff, as far as camouflage, I still do all my stuff freehand. I have masking putty, but I use that for figures. And you'll probably notice it if you watch, you know, more streamers and more variety of I don't want to say creators, but just people in the hobby. You'll begin to weed out what's really important for you to enjoy it and to be personally successful in it, and what you don't need. Because, like, masking putty on a camo scheme like this, be a nightmare. I'd be breaking so much stuff on this model.
Chicken 137 said, I remember back when I first picked up my airbrush. I thought it was going to be a miracle tool. Just like any other tool, it has a learning curve. It took me a bit to figure it out.
Exactly. But you stuck with it and figured it out, didn't you? I'm still learning stuff, but I also know what my airbrush can do and what I can do with it.
At the model student 20 said airbrushing took me a while to learn as well.
But that's another reason I got all those books recently, is there's things in it that I remember, but I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly anymore, so I'll just start referring to it again so I know that I'm on the right track. And these books are aligned more for scale modeling than they are for miniature painting, unfortunately. I mean, if you want to get into scale stuff, they're a great resource as well. They're like 30 years old, but they teach you all the basics.
Said that's what is great about the hobbies is always the chance to try something new.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I need 2 of my return rollers to make them sand. I need to go back through some pictures again.
At the model student 20 said my overhead winch and beam idea worked, yay.
Great success! I'm gonna be putting stowage on this tank. I just don't know how far I want to go with it. Most of the time it doesn't look like there was a lot. Yeah, there's no crow's feet on the dozer blade as far as I can tell. At least none of the ones I've got pictures of. It's going to be getting a little muddy anyway. This back in here.
At the model student 20 said I used magnets. I have 3 positions.
Oh, nice.
With the winch on the beam. Yes.
I would have just made it slide. But then again, I don't play with my models too often, so. Or if I do play with them, they're full RC, so there's that too. And if you get frustrated with the hobby Papa Chicken, it's okay to put it down for a bit. You know, look at what other people have done, kind of use them for inspiration, and see where you want to go with how you're doing it too. That's why it's a hobby. Given how fragile this paint is being right now, though, I might throw a coat of clear on it just so I can handle it with a bit more certainty. Yeah, I think I will, just to be safe. And I want to do a little further testing on the frost effect I'm going to be using.
At the model student 20 said you picked a cool genre Papa Chicken nice models to paint.
Yeah. Gundam's good, Frame Arms Girls are good too if you want something really just brainless to throw together. So let's get you clear coated. And I'm not talking like a full car gloss clear coat, but something to stiffen up the outer paint.
Gundam is an awesome fun build.
And I gave away my high new version Kai.
At the model student 20 said I have quite a few.
Yeah, don't be afraid to try different models that interest you, you know?
Model student 20 asked what Gundam kit did you get? But the model student 20 said just curious.
Yeah, you see how that darkened down a little bit, model student?
At the model student 20 said funny how that clear coat brings everything together.
Okay, I'm trying to get the autofocus to... There we go. This is more so I can handle it tomorrow and do the detail painting without worrying about having to touch up everything after I touch it too many times. Yeah, Bandai's been doing some crazy shit with their engineering. They did a figure of Asuka from Evangelion. Her face is 5 layers of different colored plastic molded in one piece. That could have been bad.
The model student 20 said too easy to mar the paint before a clear coat.
Yeah, and could I have used primer? Yeah. Would it have changed a thing? Nope. I've had this paint do the same shit on primer. I'd still have gray showing through, so.
Papa Chicken 137 said 5
Yeah.
color injection on a single piece is wild.
It's the one where she's in the test plug suit from the second movie before she gets into Ava 3. But yeah, her face had 5 different colors. I counted 5. And you could see all the different sprue connections, you know, all going into one. The eyes, the eyebrows, the iris, the color of the pupil, the lips.
The model student 20 said they are leading the model building hobby into the 21st century.
Yes and no. Engineering-wise, they're leaps and bounds, right? But they gotta change it up a little or else they're gonna be falling behind soon. I can't explain how or why, but I just get the feeling that if they don't really start fixing some internal problems they've probably got, they're gonna start falling behind big time. Road wheels I'm not too worried about. The areas I've got to touch aren't important, but just to make them all match tone-wise. So you were talking about having a competition. Is it like a model contest, or is it like a tabletop game competition? I know sometimes the finish of a player's models can earn points in some of the judging and stuff like that. But yeah, I used to build for contests, and then I saw how pointless it was, so I built for myself, and I wound up having more fun. And if you're worried about paint fumes, I have a fan with a filter on it going right next to me.
137 said ads covered up your question.
Oh. I was asking about the contest. Was it like a tabletop contest?
No paint, no glue, and youthful topics are keeping them getting young people into the hobby. They need more master brains. Lol. At the model student 20 said Lego is a big one getting people started putting plastic.
Lego gets people started, but it can only take them so far. It teaches them good instruction following and things like that. But again, that can only go so far as well. And Lego is worse than Bandai price-wise. They're getting way the hell out of hand. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to give this a good full gloss coat right now. So I can just throw some decals on it tomorrow. Detail paint, recoat, wash, and go.
Chicken 137 said not for the game, but for display
Okay.
painting. Yeah. Trying to keep myself on my toes.
So are you strictly in the Battletech stuff, or are you into Mech Warrior as well? I know they use a lot of similar designs. Not so much now. They've kind of differentiated a little bit. But I think they're being conglomerated somehow. Because do you do 3D printing at all? Because I think you can find it either on Thingiverse or Cults. Somebody does a 70-second scale locus in a full run.
Papa Chicken 137 said MechWarrior is just what they call the first-person shooter BattleTech video game.
Oh, Mech Warrior, Mech Commander's the third person, yeah.
At the Model Student 20 said I've seen a few people going from LEGO to scale lately, just like from Warhammer to Gundam. Price is one of the factors.
That, and I think people want more. Like when people go from Warhammer to Gundam, they want something bigger. They want something a bit more tangible, you know? Kind of like a growing phase. Like there's people that'll do Warhammer their entire lives, but they'll also build Gundam or other things. I do a little bit of everything. Which reminds me, I gotta get back to that damn boat. I really don't want to build that boat until after I move, though. But I at least gotta get its hull in the deep freeze so I can pop off the propeller shaft housings.
Papa Chicken 137 said I've gotta bounce. Have a great rest of your evening.
Well, thank you for the follow. No worries.
Papa Chicken
I'll be back on tomorrow.
137 just followed.
A bit earlier in the day.
Team Elements said welcome to the channel, Papa Chicken 137.
Thank you very much for the follow. Yep, we'll be back on tomorrow. Probably around noon my time. It's... what time is it now?
At the Model Student 20 said I would love to get that kit of the moose. I think it is from that movie Chappie.
It was only released... it's 9/27 now, so depending on where you live. That one was a limited edition. They don't sell it anymore. Solway Studios managed to get his hands on one. I don't know how. I have 3D files for it. If you... yeah, you've got a printer. Get yourself to Gambody. Type in Moose, Chappie Moose. There you go. And the files are the same scale as the one from Weta Studios. Yeah, we're wrapping up here too, so... won't be on much longer. I just want to make sure my airbrush is clean and ready for tomorrow.
20 said it's 11:30 here. The kid is unobtainium.
You're gonna hate me, model student. Just give me 1 second. There's some minor changes you might make, but overall it's the same thing. That link should work.
The busy builder sent a link.
I hope it works. It only went... oh, there it goes.
Busy builder 4071 sent a link. At the Model Student 20 said I have the file in my saved pages. I did consider trying to print it.
I have it. It's pretty good.
The Model Student 20
I want to
said
print it
work is
bigger
not
now.
law.
I want to print it bigger now. I tried doing it at 16th scale. I want to do the full 1/8 scale one.
At the Model Student 20 said have to find it again.
I sent the link into chat.
At the Model Student 20 said cool, thanks.
But short of somehow finding the Weta Studios model, that's the only way you're going to go. the one that I want to get is the Raven dropship from Elysium. I may wind up scratch building that. But it's been a good stream tonight. We got another new follow. Just under 3 hours. A little shorter than I want, but it's also a work day. It gives me a better jumping off point for tomorrow, too, with this.
At the model student 20 said, got it, it's reasonable too.
Yep. Depending on which version you print, the one for SLA is 16th scale. If you have a Elegoo Saturn,
Model student 20 said that is a cool design. that
you could
drops-
probably bump it up to 1/8 scale just by printing it at 200%. I think most of the files fit on mine. If you have a Mars, you're gonna kind of be limited to the 1/16th, but
At the
it's
model
there.
Student 20 said, nice one, great stream.
We got the tank painted. Tomorrow I want to get onto the detail painting of it. You know, the road wheels, headlights, decals, other little bits and bobs. At least get the detail wash on it, get it flat coated, and ready for the beginning of weathering. We'll see how far we get with that. I am not pushing myself for anything right now. If I can be on by noon, and we can get a 2 to 3 hour stream in, great. If I wake up feeling like crap, like I kind of did today, I'll put a post in the post section on YouTube. So keep an eye out, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks again to the follow from Mr. Chicken. Thanks everybody for hanging out. I noticed Aries left. I know Alex has been gone for a bit, so